Hey everybody, we've been out for a little bit, but we're getting stuff done. We just wanted to give you kind of a update on what's going on. The Mike 68 Mustang has been the first round of buffing on it. It's all sanded out. We started buffing on it. If you look in here, you remember we did all of the Matte 66, Dynamac, Kill Matte, whatever you want to call it. We're getting ready. The dashboard gets painted matte black. And then this back here is also going to be all matte black. So we're getting ready to do that. The car's up. This is where it's going to be. When it rolls off of here, it's rolling off on its own wheels and tires. So Mike and his son are going to come over because they want to do some of the assembly so they can be involved in the building of this car, because what we've done is a little out of their skill set, but wrenching on it, putting things together will be a little bit easy, and we got plenty of reference cars here to look at to see how to put it back together. But car come out real good. I'm real happy with it. I don't particularly care for buffing, so I'll go this far with it, and then I have a detailer that comes and he spends time on it, gets all the haze, fine scratches, anything like that out of it. So this car will be, for all intents and purposes, flawless. It's going to be a real pretty car. And then come on over here. Hey George. We finally got the heads back for the Corvair, so George is here. He's going to button that motor up, kind of put it together, and we'll do our best to get a motor in there this week, maybe. You never know. We'll see. But we have the parts finally, so it's been just kind of a nightmare getting stuff with the supply shortages and whatever it happens to be. And I don't pretend to know, but I know that things are not like they're supposed to be. But we're getting some of the stuff we need. I just bought if you remember a couple of weeks ago, I bought a sandblaster, which we needed forever. It's been great. We've got a ton of small parts sandblasted and painted and staged over here on this rack for the assembly of that Mustang, this Mustang, that Mustang. We have a bunch of components that are painted and ready to bolt on. Everything's cured. It's just a matter of getting it done, so we will. And then, like I said, we bought the sandblaster. I stepped up and got a welder. We've needed a TIG welder for a real long time. I found a welder that I wanted that was way more than what I felt we needed in the shop, but it's the last welder I'll ever have to buy. We bought a multi-process MIG TIG, fully automatic, dual cylinder. It knows when you step on that pedal, it knows you're TIG welding. When you pull the trigger on that torch, it knows you're MIG welding. You don't have to, okay, I'm welding 1/4 inch. You don't have to set your dials to where you're ready to weld a 1/4 inch. You strike an arc with this thing, it automatically figures out what metal you're using, the thickness of the metal. It sets the torch or the MIG torch or the TIG torch wherever it needs to be to absolutely set to perfection. So there's no more guesswork or calculations or anything. The welder does all of that. So it's a pretty nice setup. Our 110 will still use it for the stuff that we need to use it for, but this one's really going to step up as far as the welding goes. Clint's Porsche, we've got a lot of metal work in the underside of that car to do, and that car has to be by the numbers correct. It's a very, very important car. So we're gonna do some TIG welding on that car. So Matt's certified, so as far as I can MIG weld, I can TIG weld enough to get by. Matt's certified, knows perfectly how to do it, so we'll take care of that. And a lot of times things don't happen necessarily in the order we want them to happen in, but this is just a nice thing. It doesn't seem like a lot, but trust me, when things kind of either go wrong or get backed up or whatever, when one thing happens correctly, it's always pretty nice. They sent the cart first. So we can do some time lapse of Austin assembling that cart. That way when the welder gets here, it goes right on the cart. We don't have to wait a week and a half for the cart to come and set it all up. I'll have to call air gas, get a TIG cylinder and another MIG cylinder. Yes. And then we'll be able to do that. Come over here. Matt's been working, Matt and Joe. Joe actually has done a lot of the wiring on it. Matt's doing some of the mechanicals on our Holley Terminator X-Max that we're putting on the 454, which is going to be a pretty solid setup when it's done. It's real nice. You can integrate that whole Holley system with Dakota digital gauges, which I wanted to put a Dakota setup in this truck, but they're a little cost prohibitive, but I overcame that in my mind and then found out they're 18 weeks before you can get one. Well, whatever, I'll order it when they're back in stock. Little big dummy over here. Some people have been asking about the shop truck. We've got all the body work done on the shop truck. It's in primer. Here's the bed. I told you in a previous video that we were going to put a new headboard in it because this one's got that damage on it. And I figured my time fixing that, we'll better just buy another headboard. So I got a hold of one of the big ones that sells truck parts. And that headboard, we took it out. That headboard compared to the new one weighs about 3 times what the new one does. So that's way more realistic, way more heavy duty. The other one, if something had a slid forward in that bed, it would have destroyed it and then got into the back of the cab and whatnot. We don't want to do that. But I want to give you a little sound bite on this truck because for some reason I just love starting this truck. Let me open this window here, door here. You remember we put the Holley mid-mount setup on it. Well, apparently this pump is about 12,000 billion PSI because we had 2 or 3 different configurations of the high pressure power steering line on it. It just blow them apart. So we went to the hydraulic store, which is right up the road here, and had a hydraulic hose made for it. Now it's not pretty. It's not pretty. I mean, it is actually pretty, but yeah, but it's a very industrial type of look. But I'm going to have Matt hook that fuel pump up, and we're going to fire this truck off, get it to idle good, and then take you out back so you can listen to it because this thing is. I can't wait to drive this truck.
I think I'm going to take the microphone off for that. The soft and the peaks.
It's all right. You want to hear it. Anymore to really selling it off, going to, but it's going to be a hobby for somebody. I don't want to go to college, Mom and Dad. I want this truck. probably would have been better suited for a muscle car, but had the truck, had the motor. It sounds like they're 427 LS motors they do dyno pulls on over there. I would imagine this truck under a load is going to sound pretty husky. The Jeep, turn around. I started painting the Jeep, actually did paint the Jeep. Very, very difficult color to see going on. And then once the color's on, it's very, very difficult to see clear. So did the best I could, and there are a couple of spots where I got runs in it. I started fixing them, and I got to looking at the Jeep, and I'm like, you know what? It's flat, it's easy. Let's just take it down. I'm gonna put another coat, probably 2 coats of silver on it, 2 more coats of clear. Gonna turn the pressure up in the gun, get that clear to lay out a little bit smoother than it did. And he's not super concerned on this truck on the Jeep with a super high quality show car, wet sanded, buffed, all that. It's a Jeep, and he's gonna take it out and he's gonna whoop on it because it's got a small block Chevy motor in it. All we're doing is painting it, rhino lining the top, the bottom, and giving it back to him. Got some decals I gotta apply to it, but we're gonna wait until he's done. We'll bring it back and do that. A slew of red Mustang parts to paint, a slew of the black parts that are going on this truck to paint, a bunch of Fred and Becky's blue stuff. We've got a lot going on, so forgive us if we don't show up every day, because for us to take 15 or 20 minutes out of the day to do a video, yes, it's nice to do, but sometimes it's difficult to stop and do something like that. And then of course Joe's been real busy at work with all the cyber stuff that's going on, so he does our video editing and posting and so on and so forth. So I don't any fault to him at all for not being able to stay up with our daily video that we wanted to do. But we'll get back to it. But I'll tell you what, it's all political beliefs aside, this is not a very good time to live anywhere in the world. It's very unnerving, everything that's going on. But we are locked and loaded, ammo ready to roll. Hopefully get this truck done, so I got a bug out vehicle. We'll load everything in the back.
Got a dog that barks.
Head to the woods. Wolverines! So we got a dog that does not like communists. But that's it. So today, probably tomorrow, we'll have the Corvair running, so we can get that out of here. And what I'm probably gonna do is we'll take this truck, seeing as how we haven't used that lift in 6 months, we'll just take this truck and put it on that lift so it's out of the way and we got the floor space that we need.
Yeah, the front door.
Yep. So that's...
Put one vehicle to go on the list for 6 months, put another one to go on
Well,
the
that
list.
one won't be on there 6 months. It's been in here 4, so...
It'll be running and driving soon.
Yeah, we're still... Okay, out of all the things, we ordered almost $5,000 worth of stuff for this truck from Holly. Okay, between this truck and this truck, almost $5,000 worth of stuff. We are down to... They're still back ordered on the distributor. Holly, okay, who has been around since Hot Rod started, does not have a Chevrolet distributor. And if I'm not mistaken, small block and big block is the same distributor. So for them to be back ordered on a distributor, which is probably one of the major components of a car in the aftermarket, for them to be back ordered on that tells you the state of affairs that we're in right now. It's just not good. It
Like
really
he
is.
said, he thinks he bought the last head in America.
That's,
From
yeah.
a small block.
Yeah.
305.
Yep. Well, they had, what was it, the Elephant motor, the one that we're putting in that 63 Dodge. The hold up on Dodge building any more of those motors, they can't get the heads. I'm like, wait a second, Dodge can't get Dodge heads? What's going on? But it's all good. We'll plug along. We got enough stuff to do here. If something slows us down, we can get back on something else. 86 GMC truck, still no cab mounts. Back ordered cab mounts, which is, I'm gonna make them out of hockey pucks or something. I don't know. We gotta do something. But that's, we'll keep you posted.
He can machine us some. He machined my buddy some bushings
Yeah,
for his
they're
control.
rubber though.
Machine out of rubber.
I don't know.
It's got different materials.
But anyway, that's something I want to show you here. You see, we took one of the valve covers off this truck. The big difference between Holley's EFI system and GM's EFI system, besides Holley's being way better and much more, you don't have to zoom in, but much more, this is the computer that runs, this is your engine and transmission management compared to that Google Phonic box over there. So a lot of the wiring that's under this hood, we're going to be able to depin it and pull it out of the truck. It doesn't have to be here. Where a lot of people do something like this, they're just going to push it off to the side because now we got it running with something else. But the intake for the TBI 454 that was in there has a fill neck on the intake, which the aluminum intake that we put on the truck does not. So technically, no way to fill the oil in this truck. The valve covers didn't have, and they had the breather and the PCV valve, but it'd take you a week to put 7 quarts of oil in this truck. So we've got one of the valve covers next door. He's over there milling a hole, and we've got a 710 plug to put in there. So, which is, and I just want to address something. Got called out on it. I mean, I'm glad that people watch the videos. Thank you all for watching these videos, but they look for mistakes. They look for mistakes. I misspoke the other day because none of this is scripted. The editing, like I said, Joe's very busy, so the editing may be a little more difficult than normal. But I mentioned our 71 Buick Riviera, but I said Oldsmobile.
Because the same thing.
Because I don't think when I talk. I just, it just, you know, it's verbal diarrhea, they call it. Just talk. So
Same thing.
yeah. So it's a Kia Riviera or something, or Hyundai, I don't know. But anyway, it's a Buick, not an Oldsmobile. Anybody who thought that I didn't actually know whether it was an Oldsmobile or a Buick doesn't know me very well. It's just, you got a lot going on, and not just in the Bennett's Hot Rods world. There's just a lot going on in general. Every time I turn around, there's something more, and I you know, getting a break is difficult. We're down here 7 days. Matt is now, you know, sometimes he comes down and hangs out, but sometimes he works too. So I'm 7 days, bell to bell, bar none. And the bell is a very fluid thing. It can be 7 o'clock in the morning, it could be 8 o'clock in the morning, it could be 6 o'clock in the morning. The afternoon bell is the one that really gets crazy, because that can be, I was down here till 1 o'clock in the morning the other night, wet sanding on the Mustang. So a lot of time goes into everything that we're doing. So if anybody thinks that this is an easy deal, guess again, it's not an easy deal. So that's our update. Stay tuned. Thank you for liking, subscribing, tell your friends, get us to 10,000 subscribers. We're not really far off, but we'd like to see, just a mental thing for me to see that 10,000. No, we're not making $1 million on YouTube at 10,000. We're probably making about $90 a month. So there you have it. It's not an income related thing. It's just more a mental psyche kind of thing. That's it. Buy some t-shirts, tell your friends about the channel, watch the channel, interact, comment. You know, if you want to make a comment, Jim, it's a Buick, not an Oldsmobile, go ahead and make that comment, that's fine. We try and answer a lot of comments. A lot of them, not a lot of them, but there's a couple of them that are like, gone, you're done. We'll do that too, so be careful. And we'll talk to you the next time we talk to you.